Hey, somebody asked me a question if I knew anything about big woods hunting. Hunting big woods. Come to think of it, that's how I got started. So they asked me, Steve, in the big woods in America, what do deer eat? I mean, I hear all this talk about food plots and stuff, and I know they eat like browse and twigs and stuff like that, but what kind of browse? What kind of twigs? I mean, do they really live off of that stuff? Well, the answer is a resounding yes. And here's something else for you. Places that have food plots and stuff, deer still get 40% of their food from woody browse. So they need it. They want it. They eat it. So you should know how to identify it. Okay, let's talk about a few things. When I'm talking about browse, okay, I'm not talking about acorns, okay? They are what I would consider mast or a fruit that would drop, okay? Now, you do need to know your different types of acorns, and there's a lot of different types of oaks, okay? Basically, a white oak species is more desirable than a red oak species, and that's as far as I'm getting into it today. Okay. Same goes for apples. If you hunt in the New York area, where this guy Johnny Appleseed planted a whole bunch of apples, there's apples all over the place. And yes, deer do like apples. Okay? But again, it's a fruit. Same thing with wild grapes. They drop, deer eat them. Pretty cool. But we're going to say that for our definition, okay, browse is going to be woody shoots, stems, leaves, berry bushes, forbs, and stuff like that, okay? Let's rule out one thing, okay? Number one thing we're going to rule out, ferns, okay? For the most part, okay? There are exceptions to every rule, but for the most part, if you find deer eating ferns, they're really hard up. I mean, there ain't nothing else to eat if they're eating a fern. Okay. So, I know we're talking about big woods here, but we have to remember that there are power lines and cutovers and all kinds of stuff that you can run into. So I'm going to talk about a few things you might not expect to find in big woods, but you can find it if you look. Okay? Number one is ragweed. Yeah, the thing that, gives off all that pollen and makes us sneeze. Deer love ragweed, and at certain times of the year, they eat a lot of it. Okay. Same can be said in allergy reasons and deer reasons for liking it is goldenrod. Deer love to eat goldenrod. At a certain time of the year, deer will key in on it, and they will eat lots of it. Another deer food, and this isn't just where I live, it could be any region, okay? Could be wild lettuce, okay? It doesn't look like lettuce. It kind of almost looks like a funny looking oak leaf if you look at the plant. But wild lettuce is another thing that deer eat. How about greenbriers? You ever hunt around greenbriers? They go right through Carhartt's clothing, skin, meat, everything. They will tear you up. But deer also like browsing on younger greenbrier, and if you find them browsing on greenbrier, that could be a real bonus because they will be in those areas time after time after time. And if there's greenbrier thickets, the trails are usually pretty well defined. The downside is you might need the military to cut you a swath with a flamethrower to get in there. It can be really thick. Okay, so how about pine trees? When I was young, I'd hear, deer eating pine. They're hard up. Well, young pine trees such as Scotch pine and American white pine are actually really tasty to deer. Okay? So you will find them browsing on those areas. What else have we got? Let's get to hardwoods, okay? Oak. Now, they're not nibbling the whole oak tree that's like 6 inches around or anything like that. But where oak's been cut down and you have oak brush, that's young oak, They will eat that like crazy in a big woods environment, and it shouldn't be overlooked. Also, another sign that there are too many deer, if there are a lot of older oaks and you're not finding any young oak brush, yeah, that's a problem because they're browsing all the future trees. Okay, poplar. Not popular, poplar. Poplar trees, especially when they're young, less than 3-4 feet tall, deer will readily eat the shoots and the leaves. Another one is ash. That's right. They make baseball bats out of them, and deer love to browse on them. Now, not that it's in my area, but if you have them in your area, young aspen. That's right. Deer like to browse on young aspen. Next would be maple, especially younger maple. And it doesn't matter whether it's sugar maple, silver maple, whatever. When it's young, they will generally walk around and browse the shoots and the leaves. And also, they like to rub on maple trees. Okay, they're not getting any syrup or anything, but they do like to rub on maple trees. So, if you're getting ready to set off into the big woods, do a little research. Find what type of mast trees there are, because that's important. And also, what kind of browse species are favored in your area? A lot of times you can go to the local fish and game department or their biologist and tell them the exact area that you're hunting, and for that area or county or zone or whatever, they'll be able to give you a good idea what to look for. And figure out what it looks like and recognize it when you see it. Hey, hunting big woods is a big puzzle. We're going to kind of solve some of that puzzle for you. Hey, I'm Steve. Thanks for watching.